Right, after a 2-week hiatus due to poor weather, April showers and winds, I'm back on the road. Today up in Cambridgeshire, South Cambridgeshire, in a village called Caxton, which is near Camborne, and courtesy of the North Herts Ramblers group again, I'm doing a Caxton Circular, around about 10 mile again today. It's quite late for a start for me today because this road which I was trying to get up is currently being tarmacked, so that delayed me, and my sat-nav getting up here took me on a slightly different route to what I should have been on. So as I say, it's about 1:30, should be done by around 5:30, 6ish. So let's crack on. It's a cracking day, well, compared to what we've had. More like May, and hopefully we won't see any of the wet stuff today. So let's press on. So as you may have heard on the news, the east-west rail route has not yet been definitively finalised. So a bit of contention as to whether it will be an east, a south or north route into Cambridge. Clearly these people are on the southern version, don't want it here. It's a good idea, but as usual, why did they ever rip it up in the first place from Sandy, Bedfordshire? And interestingly, this initial path has all the hallmarks of an old railway line anyway. Lovely cow parsley on either side, chiff chaff singing. Won't have too many more weeks of this. Indeed, another month hence, and the clocks will be, the days will be getting shorter. Unbelievable where this year's gone. Passing under an A road above us, and it's quite warm today, around about 16-17 degrees. Very pleasant. Lovely aroma from this hawthorn blossom at the moment. Much more powerful than the blackthorn. Do a right at this T-junction, turning into Camborne Nature Reserve. I don't know for certain, but I get the impression from the track that I'm walking and these sort of like man-made hills that and lakes, that this was probably some kind of pits in the past. A lot of that round here, aggregates. Good quality track underfoot thus far, after the initial bit of muddiness on the start point. I didn't actually wear boots today because I'm breaking in, or have broken in, my new Obos Bridger lows, which are a nice firm stout walking shoe, and are certainly aiding a lower back issue that I had. So if anyone's looking for a good quality, firm, quite heavy mind you, walking shoe, recommend the Obos Bridger Low. Reed and sedge warbler territory. Blackcap singing behind me there. Not sure what that is. That, probably a warbler of a kind. But yeah, that. There's the old blackcap. So there you go. This is what makes me think this is old pits. New housing here as well. So that's what they're calling it, Wampin Willow Lake. Looks like it's attracted the old cormorants already. Where's it gone there? That's not a cormorant, it's a blooming crow. So as you can see, this nature reserve is the payoff for this new housing development for sure. Seems to be a lot of this going on at the moment. We really don't need all these new homes in the countryside though, that's the issue. This last one is Sirius Lake. There's a co-op there just on my left. We're about 2.5 miles in now. Our onward journey continues towards that phone mast or transmission tower of some kind. There's some pretty decent practice there. Whoever's cut these verges has only cut about 1 foot in, which is the right way to do it really. Just enough to allow for health and safety and all that rubbish, which I still dispute anyway. Good article in The Guardian yesterday about why our verges should be maintained. I suggest you have a look at that for those that are interested. Latest scientific research. Keep our flowers, etc. in bloom on verges. Okay, the GPX route takes me right here towards this road, which looks quite busy. So this could be a bit dubious if it's not a pavement. There is an onward path straight ahead, but that would appear not to go in the right direction for this walk. There is actually a footpath, which is quite unusual. Now take this public byway for Childerley, 1 3/4 miles, where I aim to take lunch. So the GPS has just told me we're 3 miles into the walk, and thus far it has been pretty urban. So I think between miles 3 now and probably around 8 or 9 should be quite rural, certainly according to the map anyway. And this is certainly a good start. As you can see, still quite wet underfoot from the recent showers we've had. Certainly made up for April this month. Very pleasant section of byway walking. Out of the woodland area it's less muddy, and that's one issue I do have with these new shoes. The lugs get filled up with mud pretty easily, and they don't have a very good grip. Probably my only complaint with them thus far. Now in classic Cambridgeshire big field territory, cereals. There is a path straight ahead, but we don't take that. Bear right here, following the muddier path towards Childerley Hall on the map, which, as I say, is where I'm proposing to stop if I can find an appropriate place. There was a chapel marked on the map, but I think that's in the private grounds, because Childerley Hall, from what I read, is a wedding venue these days. So there you go, a couple of handily placed benches. However, they're behind a fence in front of me here, so it looks like this is private and you've got to pay to get in. There is the chapel. And that's a shame, isn't it? Lovely location. There's a form of thrush there I'm not too familiar with. It could be a field fare staying over, but I'm not 100%. Making a warning note anyway. What an amazing old building this is. The old mill yard apparently. Now offices. Great place to work. Now there is actually a seat over there. Don't think anyone would mind if I stop there, I'm sure. So we've got a couple of seats here, which I'm going to accommodate one of them. It's around 3 o'clock now, so ideal timing, and about 5 miles into the walk, so perfect really. Okay, 3:30, lunch has been had, and whilst having it I spotted this swallow's nest above my head. It's not currently being used, although clearly it was up until recently, when the arrival of these works probably disturbed them and sent them away, which is very sad considering the distance they've travelled to get here. But certainly no birds came and went in the time I was sat here. Shame. Interesting feature there on this small pond. Some kind of nesting site for something, but I'm not sure what. Never seen one of those before, must admit. Onward journey is past these farm buildings. Very interesting place this. Okay, at this juncture, do not continue straight ahead there, which is an option, but turn left. Lots of noise in the background from biplanes again, as was the case when we walked at Wimpole, just a bit further south of where I am at the moment. So probably the same airfield, I should imagine. Cracking afternoon now, and I can hear the warning note in that tree there of a yellowhammer. There you go. Got a height differential today of 124,251, and I'm currently stood slap bang in the middle at 199. So, you know, there's a little bit of elevation in Cambridgeshire, particularly around this area. Interesting shed in the middle of nowhere, with a radio area on the back. Must be something to do with these cabinets. And I also noticed we're walking along an old military track by the looks of things. World War II most likely. Little weather station here as well. Wonder if that's the Met's Camborne one. So that's interesting. We're on the Pathfinder way, whatever that is. I'll have to look that one up. But we're now also following the thoroughfare lane, appropriately. And these signs could do with updating, Cambridge Council. Going through a wooded area. It's a spinney per the map. I can't remember the name. Let me just look. Well, makes sense. Thoroughfare spinney. Glorious. High-tech chicken coop. UV panel. Very good idea. What? Yep, you agree as well. It's what you expect from Cambridge though, isn't it, really? With all its science background. Interesting. All these hawthorns, which are not that old, as you can see from the protective covers at the base, all been sliced in half for some reason. Probably to open up the canopy and stop it being a dark, muddy path. Hold my judgment on that. I would much prefer that they left the lane in this way, even if it is a bit damper underfoot. It's just also more cooling from the overhead sun, and of course there's the nature benefit as well. So I'm not quite sure why they've opened that up like that, really. Okay, just after this chapel conversion off this lane, take this finger post hidden in a conifer, Caxton 3 1/4. So you can see how far we've got to go now. Interesting, I didn't realise we were on the RSPB's Hope Farm land. So this is all organic, and yeah, should be a good example of proper farming, I'm hoping. Newly installed these information panels by the looks of it. So cornflower flowers. Tells you a bit about the flowers that are on the field boundaries as well. Excellent. Hope Farm was bought by the RSPB in 2000. Google that if you wish to learn some more. So there you go. At some point this was oilseed rape over here. Not at the moment though. There is a rape field mind. Blooming borders. Not much going on in them at the moment. These look like wild flower beds here, of various kinds, growing the plantain and what have you for their wildflower borders. Interestingly, the RSPB have left their ditches, just as I felt that they ought to be doing. Good practice, not like some that cut them down to the bone again. Only the second lot of cattle that I've seen today, thankfully. Predominantly cereals around this way. And who's that in the shed there? Big old beast. Probably the bull. Anyway, safely on the other side of the fence. Crossing over the A428. Well, that is lucky, the last mile and a half to Caxton. This footpath's only just reopened. Ahead of us. And here's another warning saying that the bridleway's closed until September last year. Yet there's still obstructions up. You can get round them, but ramblers need to be aware of this, so I'll report it on Pathwatch. It's a decent enough path as a finale to this walk. Would have been a pain if it had still been closed. Every 500 yards or so you get one of these little clearings that's been created. I wonder what the purpose is. Can't be picnic areas, surely, not that frequently. And just behind these, this tree line is a large housing estate. So I don't know what this is all about. The development up this way is relentless. It's going to be a big old town, Camborne, and clearly with the development going on here, it's likely to be the winner in the north-south railway debate. Can't imagine them putting it north when they've got all this development going on the south side. It's crying out for a station, but at what cost to our agricultural land? Good to see the farmers dredged this dike. I can't believe that the one that I saw that was blocked up was on RSPB land. Must have been someone else's, I feel. Because under the Land Drainage Act, farmers have an obligation to keep these clear. And this one's been nicely done with the residue put out on the field here for future ploughing in. Excellent. So here we are, almost 10 miles exactly, and 3 hours 22 later, and back at St Peter's Street for the journey home. That was a decent enough walk, nothing significant to write home about really, but a good outing in Cambridgeshire. Clearly there's a lot going on around this area, Cambourne in particular, and worrying really that Cambridge is spilling out into the countryside. Really is worrying how much agricultural and greenbelt land we're eating up. So unnecessary really, because the ONS have already said we haven't got the population stats ahead of us to fill all these new properties. Let's stick with the brownfield. Anyway, turned out to be a lovely afternoon. Weather held out nicely. Perfect walking temperature really as well. And the, as I say, the Obos Bridger low have done me well after 10 days walking now. So I guess they're broken in. Anyway, till the next time, take care of yourselves.